fire. It's one of the most feared threats in our industry. For the Gulf Oil Corporation, the protection of both life and property against such a threat is one of the most aggressively sought-after goals. To achieve such protection, it is necessary to have knowledgeable, skilled personnel, well-trained in safe procedures, combined with equipment designed to do the job. But if a breakdown should occur, backup equipment and pre-emergency planning become critical. That's why a new piece of equipment has been added to a number of Gulf terminals. The system is formally known as the Twin Agent Trailer, RTA 1100. Highly mobile, this trailer-mounted firefighting system is uniquely designed for quick response to loading rack and external roof tank seal fires. It was developed by the Rockwood Systems Corporation of Lancaster, Texas, and consists of 4 primary components. First, a spherical tank which stores 100 gallons of foam. This amount is adequate to provide approximately 2.5 minutes of firefighting capability at a reach of 45 to 50 feet. A second spherical tank stores 1,000 pounds of dry powder. At the maximum discharge rate of 10 pounds per second, it will provide approximately 100 seconds of sustained application at a reach of 55 to 60 feet. The energy that propels both the dry chemical and the foam comes from the third primary component, the onboard pressurized cylinders of dry nitrogen located beneath the spherical tanks. They contain enough propellant to completely discharge both the dry chemical and the foam tanks with adequate reserve to then clean the lines once the discharge has been completed. 2 bottles support the dry chemical, the other supports the foam. No outside source of energy is required for delivery of the agents to the fire. If the nitrogen bottles are kept fully charged and the equipment has been properly maintained, it will function. The fourth component consists of 2 100-foot sections of heavy-duty rubber hose mounted in tandem on a hose reel behind the spherical tanks. By operating the appropriate nozzle valve, either the dry chemical, the foam, or both may be selected depending on the fire situation. The system has been designed to be simple and easy to operate. All important valves are labeled and centrally located. To place the system in operation, the 2 green valves are opened, and a friction knob on the hose reel is loosened to allow the hose to easily unroll. The entire system can be placed into action in just a few seconds. At the Louisiana State Fireman Training School in Baton Rouge, a simulated tank wagon fire was staged by Gulf in order to demonstrate the capability of the equipment in engaging a petrochemical fire, and to show the proper application of both the dry chemical and the foam. As the fire was being lit, the firefighters moved to put the system into action. Again, note how quick and easy the trailer is made operable. For the purpose of this particular demonstration, the entire length of hose was laid out by one person before the fire was engaged. However, the hose could have been pulled directly from the reel to the fire, since there is adequate pressure from the nitrogen tanks to operate the system with total effectiveness without the entire hose being unreeled. The fluid seen leaking from the burning tanker is water that is used to cool the metal and keep the tank from deteriorating from its repeated burnings here at the LSU facility. With the fire at high intensity, the firefighters start to move. They first engage it with the dry chemical alone. The dry chemical enables them to quickly knock down the fire. After this initial knockdown, the foam is then added, allowing them to push the fire back and secure it. The dry chemical continues to knock down the flames, with the foam following behind, covering the flammable liquids and sealing in the vapors. After securing the fire around the tanker, they then move into position to fight the remainder of the blaze, again hitting the fire first with the dry chemical to get a quick knockdown. Note the continuous sweeping motion they use in applying the desired agent. Sweeps that go slightly beyond the edge of the burning materials, preventing the fire from coming back behind where the chemical and foam have been applied and reigniting. The foam should be applied in a gentle manner, allowing it to arch and fall on to the fire. If it is applied directly, it may scatter the flammable hydrocarbons. Finally, the firefighters secure the last portion of the fire and carefully back away. Now, representatives of one of the Gulf oil terminals get their first chance to use the equipment. Their training thus far has consisted of approximately 30 minutes of classroom theory and watching the demonstration we just saw. Let's see if it was enough. They start to move in. The dry chemical nozzle has a bit of a kick to it, so they lean into the hoses with feet firmly planted. The dry chemical is affected by wind and has little ability to cool the hot materials. However, today the wind isn't a problem, and the powder is able to knock the fire down quickly. The dry powder also acts as a thermal barrier, partially shielding the firefighters from the heat of the blaze. Now the dry chemical is shut off and the foam is activated. Both agents could have been applied simultaneously, but the foam is adequate at this point to extinguish the remaining fire. Note that the fire is starting to reignite at the rear of the tank. Their initial sweep with the dry powder left that area unsecured, so they must come back and hit it with the foam to keep the fire from spreading again. They continue applying foam on the rest of the fire using an arching, gentle sweeping motion. Some of the fire does manage to creep back towards the firefighters, again because of an inadequate foam blanket, something firefighters must be especially watchful of. In this case, it is easily isolated, and with a final sweep of the foam, the last of the fire is extinguished. Just as the first crew did, they back away from the fire area, keeping alert to the possibility of reignition. They never turn their backs until they are absolutely certain the fire is out for good. It has been an effective effort for a crew that has had only a minimum of training. The twin-agent trailer's simple design and ease of operation enables quick and efficient response against the threat of fire. The combination of dry chemical and foam gives firefighters great versatility and provides them with the capability to literally stop a disaster in its tracks. It is Gulf's hope that you will never be required to employ the twin-agent trailer against an actual fire. But if you do, this information and your subsequent training with the equipment will serve